Lyndon Johnson was one of the most powerful senators in America. He was running for president until he lost the nomination to a 43-year-old named John F. Kennedy. JFK asked Johnson to be his VP because he needed the South. LBJ didn't want to give up being Senate Majority Leader to be number 2 to a kid who just beat him. But then LBJ did some research. He found out nearly 1 in 4 presidents died in office. "I'm a gambling man, darling, and this is the only chance I got," he said. And his gamble paid off. An assassination made Lyndon Johnson the most powerful man in the world a few years later. And if you've been in D.C. long enough, you know anything can happen, no matter how hopeless your political career seems. Biden ran for president 3 times before getting the gig. Kamala flamed out in the primaries, but Joe needed somebody who shatters, and now she's in the White House. Washington's a weird place. And lately, primetime's been picking up a lot of chatter. A suspected candidate keeps popping up on our radar. We saw her hanging out with Sneaky Pete in Nashville. Then we saw her wearing a pepper necklace in India. And then we saw her in Los Angeles, shattering glass ceilings with her voice. And you're gonna hear me roar. You're gonna hear me roar. Now Primetime's hearing some chatter out of Abu Dhabi. Crooked went to the Middle East for International Women's Day. Because when I think of women's rights, I think Mideast. Why was she there? Well, to let the world know that Hillary's still in the game. Joe Biden keeps tripping and getting cancerous lesions chopped off his chest. The guy hasn't been seen in 2 days.
This is the second day in a row where the president hasn't had any public events on his schedule. What's he up to, and strategy to having him out of the public eye before this big speech tomorrow?
So look, yesterday, as I think we read out 2 hesitate calls that he had with, I believe, with the Oman and also with President Macron. We read those 2 calls out, and so the president is always working, always making sure that he not even always making sure, he does have the American people at the top of mind every day.
Biden's made 2 calls in 2 days. What a workhorse. He doesn't want to be president anymore, or maybe he can't. His wife's trying to pick up the slack. She's not doing too great either, though. Jill and the Secretary of State gave the Woman of Courage Award today to a biological man.
In Argentina, Alba Ruada is a transgender woman who was kicked out of classrooms, barred for sitting for exams, refused job opportunities, subjected to violence, and rejected by her family. But in the face of these challenges, she worked to end violence and discrimination against the LGBTQI+ community in Argentina.
If Joe drops out before 2024, Crooked is waiting in the wings. And Abu Dhabi's a great place to raise some money, obviously. They've given the Clintons millions over the years for speeches, consulting. It's called buying influence. The sheiks must have been rolling their eyes when they heard Crooked hit all the buzzwords in her campaign speech.
Women and children are the primary victims of conflict and of climate change, and there is no place that unfortunately, tragically shows us that more dramatically than Ukraine today.
Women and children in Ukraine aren't worried about climate change, Hillary. And flying to an oil kingdom where women hold no power with your hand out isn't a good look. She better shake off the rust, because that kind of clumsy grifting's why she lost to Trump. And how tone deaf is she? You're hanging with sneaky Mayor Pete, the first gay transportation secretary, and the next day flying to Abu Dhabi, which, to put it politely, wouldn't embrace Pete and Chasten's relationship. Will this version of Hillary Clinton survive a presidential campaign? Kellyanne Conway is a Fox News contributor and author of Here's the Deal. So what is the deal with Hillary?
She's probably looking at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and saying what the rest of us are saying, you've got to be kidding. Can't we do any better? She probably understood how she lost the primary in 2008, Jesse, to the young African-American president to be Barack Obama. But these 2? And she, Hillary has never had people around her who will tell her, that's a bad idea. You're not all that. Maybe this is not the right time. I think it cost her in 2016. Look, we beat the Queen Bee, Hillary Clinton, in 2016 when the majority of voters were female. And we did it by appealing to men and women on the same issues, but also preying on Hillary's vulnerabilities. They are then what they are now. She's not seen as incorruptible. She's not seen as fresh and new. She's not seen as a great negotiator and consensus builder. Those three qualities often buoy a lot of female candidates to the fore down ballot. I've been working on this for decades. The other problem for Hillary is, according to the ABC News Washington Post poll in August of 2016, the day Donald Trump asked me to be campaign manager, 62% of Americans said they found her to be neither honest nor trustworthy. What follows the but? What can possibly follow the but? I don't think she's honest or trustworthy, but I think she should have the nuclear codes and be commander-in-chief and have an honest economy. She was slobbered all over today by her American delegation. She had to take her own Americans with her, Joe and Mika, of course, Gloria Steinem, Billie Jean King. Joe Scarborough posted something on Instagram that's over the top obnoxious and obsequious, even for him, about her, how she's an icon. People come up to her everywhere. She single-handedly has helped women have equality in the workforce.
So is this the Rehab Hillary tour that's going to every single country in the world? Is Joe really that vulnerable?
By the way, except the U.S., let me make the point. If you go back to the midterms just a few months ago, Hillary Clinton was invited to campaign with Kathy Hochul and Kamala Harris here in New York where she lives. She wasn't invited by Maggie Hassan in New Hampshire. She wasn't invited by the woman in Nevada with the three names and no accomplishments, her. She's not welcome on the campaign trail with female Democratic senators in this country.
So she has to go out of the country to get a little love.
To feel a little popular, get a little love.
Where's Bill, by the way, when she's in Abu Dhabi?
Probably really happy that she's in Abu Dhabi. Probably said, you know what, that sounds fantastic. Go get your award. And I hope it's International Women's Month, not just day.
No one honors women more than Bill Clinton.
That's true.
He's celebrating all month long.
And let me give Hillary a little bit of pity, which I'm sure she appreciates from me and you. It's got to be really tough to wake up every morning and be the second most popular person in a two-person household. That's rough stuff.
It is. All right. Kellyanne Conway, she's single, guys.
Run, Hillary, run.
Line up. There she is. You have